Hello friends, welcome to the show. My name is Aslan. I'm other you are watching my show, Aslan Sahab podcast. As you know, whenever I come live, there is a special guest with me. You are watching me on YouTube, Facebook, on my show, Aslan Sahab podcast. Today there is a special guest with me with over 10 years worth of experience. Fong Chua has successfully unlocked the potential of many of his clients, demonstrating how they can achieve more than they had ever thought possible. Business strategist, entrepreneur, real estate coach, international speaker, podcast host, best-selling author. Let's welcome him to my show and know more about him, learn from his journey. Hello, sir, Feng Chua. How are you?
Hey, thank you very much for having me. Very, very excited to be here, and I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for your time. So, my first question from you: make more, work less. How anyone can unlock his potential, peak potential, and achieve greatness?
Well, I think when it comes to unlocking your potential, making more, working less, everything that everybody wants to do or wants to achieve, I believe you just have to go out there and ask. Ask that question. What do you want to do? Find somebody who's been doing it, successful in it, and ask them how did they get started? How did they achieve their success? Because everything that's out there that you've ever wanted to achieve, ever wanted to do, has been done in one shape or another, and somebody's there who's already walked that path. And if the thing is, if you ask them about their failures, ask them about the successes, then you're able to build up on that experience of theirs and apply it to your own and really walk your own path and see what you can do with it. So that's truly how I think people can be successful, by asking other people, reaching out, talking to coaches, mentors, guides, whatever it is, even like parents. If they want to do stuff that their parents have done really, really well, ask them how they did it. And then after that, once you achieve that, ask the next person, the next person, the next person.
Okay, very nice. You have met very successful people and Hollywood stars. What is your most memorable moment of your podcast show and your journey?
Well, let's start off with my journey. Well, I started off
Yeah.
as I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. My backdrop behind me is where I was born, and I was taught to find a good job, working that good job for my entire career, and that's basically it, kind of thing. I became a structural engineer, and I thought, wow, this is it. This is what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life. This is gonna be 40 years of my life and whatnot. And then I'm not sure how much you know about the economy of Alberta, Canada. It's really based on oil and gas. So once oil goes up, everybody's like, yay! If oil goes down, everybody's like, boo, and everything goes bad. So we went through a downturn where oil went down and the economy was bad and all that kind of stuff. And the company that I was with at the time was laying lots of people off. There was about 800 some people down to just over 100 people. So then that's when my girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time, went and, you know what, let's go and do something different. So instead of signing up for advanced courses, technical courses in engineering, we decided to sign up for a real estate course. And that's how we started going into business, real estate investing, and meeting different people and all that kind of stuff. So when it comes to real estate, we also realized that if you want to be successful in real estate, you have to be able to talk. You have to be able to network. You have to be able to build relationships. And that's one of the things that we really, really focused on, because as a engineer by trade and from a culture of Asians, well, we don't socialize that much. So it's one of those things that we put a lot of work into, working on our speeches, working on our communication, going out to different networking events, building relationships, and we really, really focused on that aspect. Because as I said at the very beginning, everything that we ever wanted to do, somebody has information that they can lend you, teach you, coach you, whatever it is. So then that's how we
Yeah,
started
yeah.
getting real estate. And then we hired a business coach. We hired a real estate coach who then helped us build our real estate portfolio. He then asked me, hey, do you want to speak on stages? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. And then that's how I started getting to speaking. In fact, my very first speaking engagement was at one of his events. and it was a 2 hour engagement in front of I think 123 people or something like that. I was completely blown away because I thought I was going to speak for 5 minutes, and he goes, no, you get to speak for 2 hours. So that's how I did my first speaking engagement. Then he asked, hey, why don't you start doing books? I'm like, okay, sure, let's start writing books. So within the first 2-3 years, we released 3 books on mindset, real estate, and also building relationships and whatnot. And then fast forward to a few years later, we started to coach people in real estate, coach people in speaking. And then during the 2020 time, when there was that global pandemic and whatnot, I started my podcast, started interviewing people all over the world, and basically helping people get noticed, helping people get their books out, helping people with their speaking and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a very short timeline as to how I got to where I am today. As to interviewing people, my best experience and whatnot, I had a opportunity to interview Jillian Michaels, and she's a world-renowned fitness expert. She helps celebrities get in shape. She's known out there. She has her own show. She has lots of books and all that kind of stuff. And it was an absolute honor to have her on my show. And it was a lot of fun. She had so much fun that she went, hey, do you have more questions? I'm like, of course I got more questions. Got tons of questions. And she was just so down to earth. And it was just a lot of fun getting to know what she does, how she was able to become successful. And it was just great having somebody of that caliber laughing, having fun on my show. So that was one of my best experiences.
That's great. My next question from you, what inspired you to become an author, and what is the message you are giving through your book?
So as I kind of alluded to in that journey story, my coach goes, okay, your next step is to write a book. And I go, who am I to write a book at the time? I mean, there was a lot of limiting beliefs. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners who are working towards entrepreneurship, working towards building their businesses, there's always limiting beliefs that stop them from achieving what they want to achieve. And for me, when my coach goes, hey, it's time for you to write a book, purely from a credibility standpoint to showcase, okay, this is who you are, this is what you can do, this is what you're an expert in, this is what you're an authority in. And I go, okay, I would love to, but who am I to write that book? And how do I write that book? And that person over there is way more successful than me, and they don't have a book. And then my coach then tells me, he says, first of all, if you are able to speak and you're willing to speak, and I know lots of people here are willing to go up on stage and do a speech or do a presentation and teach something. Well, if they're willing to go up on stage and speak about something, then they can write a book. So what's the difference? There is absolutely no difference. When you go up on stage and speak, you don't expect everybody in the audience to go, oh yeah, I agree. You probably know that some people out there is like, okay, maybe not for me. Same with books. If you write your book, if you write your story, if you write your message, you don't expect everybody to read your book. But there are some people who goes, wow, that really spoke to me, or I really like what their message is, and they follow your content. So that's one thing. And then the other thing he said to me was that if that person doesn't want to read your book, that's fine. That's not your target market. Focus on those who actually do. And the last thing he said to me was, over the last 100 years, nothing new has been written, but your voice hasn't been heard. And if you don't write for those people, then they're missing your message. So I'm like, okay, that gives me a whole new perspective as to how and why I should write that book, to focus on people who wants to learn from me and who actually gravitate to my message. So my message is basically, hey, make more, work less. If you are able to strategically set things up in investments, in real estate, in mindset, then you're technically able to make more money than what you're making now by actually working less, because you have everything set up already. If you're able to have a whole bunch of real estate properties who's bringing in cash flowing amounts every single month, well, you're just there collecting rent. If you're partnering up with different people on collaborations, on courses and all that kind of stuff, you could technically work less and still make more money. So that was one of my biggest messages out there, because I think it helps a lot of people really achieve more and more success.
Yeah, that's great. How to become an author and how to become a best-selling author.
Well, like I said, if you're willing to speak, you can write. And if you can write, you can be an
Oh,
author. For somebody like yourself, do you have aspirations of becoming an author?
yeah, yeah.
You
My
do?
next question is from you. What is the advice for you, aspiring authors and entrepreneurs?
Well, let me put it this way. You've done what? You have hundreds of followers, subscribers on your YouTube channel. You've done so many podcast interviews. You've done lots of videos online as well. You technically already have all the information, all the content you need to write a book. And for me, my very first book was basically a lot of stuff that I was speaking about and put them all together in a written form, putting a cover on it, and then self-publishing it. So there is a platform for Amazon. It's called kdp.com. If you go on that, all you need to do is upload your content, upload your cover, and go publish. So if for somebody like yourself who has already the content, it's really not that hard. A lot of my clients get their books written within 3 to 4 months and out and in their hands in 3 to 4 months. It's just a matter of organizing all that information, getting it edited if you so choose, and then publishing. So that's my advice. Go and do it, right? You won't be able to
Great.
learn, you won't be able to grow if you don't put it into action. So therefore, especially for people like yourself, who has a podcast, who's out there moving and shaking and helping lots of people out there, your book is able to help a lot more people become more successful, be inspired, because they want to hear your story. And I believe it's going to be something that's very, very easy for you to do. It's just a matter of organizing the information. As for best-selling author, well, it's a strategy that I teach a lot of my clients. As long as you are able to get a whole bunch of people to buy your book at a certain period of time, there's usually an algorithm for Amazon that calculates, okay, hey, this is going to be a best-selling book during this period of time during this day. So that's one of the ways we could do it.
Yeah, that's great. My next question from you, how did you transition from being an engineer to focusing on adding values and impacting others? What inspired you to add values to others?
So as my story was being told, that's my transition. I realized that when it comes to engineering, working for somebody else, you're only as important to that company or business until you become a number. So the company and business can treat you very, very well, could be very, very loyal to you until there's a certain point in time where, you know what, you could be let go or you could be downgraded, you could be done whatever it is because it just doesn't match the bottom line. So that's when we decided to, okay, let's expand our expertise. Instead of being more focused in the technical realm, let's work more in the business realm just in case this doesn't work. So that's why we started looking into the real estate, the business side, to expand our knowledge in different things and being more versatile. So that's the real reason why we got into something else, because we want to learn more things that other people are doing that allows them to be successful. So that's why we went into real estate. That's why we went into business. And that's why I was inspired to do so. The reason why it's real estate, well, that's, I believe, one of the best ways to kind of harness wealth. You could talk to any business person out there, to talk to any millionaire out there, any person who's very, very successful. They would have some sort of real estate, some sort of property in their portfolio somewhere at some point in time. If they are really, really good at crypto, if they're really, really good at stocks, well, guess what? They're probably going to take some of that money and transfer it into real estate as well. So that's why we went that path.
Okay, can you name a person who had a tremendous impact on you?
Um, Somebody who's has a lot of impact on me, my coaches. My coaches are those people who's gotten me to where I am today. Jerry Confer is the person who pushed me to get my books written. He's the one that gave me those wonderful lines of encouragement to get me into the right mindset of writing. JT Fox is somebody I follow a lot. He is the person I followed with regards to business sense, mindset, building relationships. He's the one that basically said, okay, nothing ever happens unless you have good relationships and unless you're able to add value to other people. If you can't add value to other people, then there's no point in doing it because you won't get noticed. People won't remember you. And why would they spend any point in time with you if you're not adding value? So always, always, always thinking about adding value and building relationships is something that JT, my coach, has really, really instilled in me. And Sean Shuchuk is somebody who's really helped me with regards to going out there, putting myself on stages, speaking in front of people, doing videos, getting over lots of fears is something he's helped me out a lot. So those three are are these are my coaches that's really, really helped me out a lot.
Okay, that's great. What are some of the common challenges you face in your life and how do you overcome them?
Well, I can share this. So I'm a podcast host. I've done a lot of videos on YouTube and online. And when I tell people, one of my biggest challenges was recording videos online. Let me ask you this: when you decided to post your very first video, how long did it take you to actually press the post button for yourself?
It's very difficult for me to face a camera on the first time.
How many takes did it take you before you go, okay, I'm gonna post this now?
When I do my first episode, I am very confused and I am very fear from the camera. I can't speak even a word on camera. Then someone built confidence in me, and I can do a lot.
And look at you
My
now,
teachers and
right?
my mentor.
Exactly. So you've done lots of repetition, lots of practice, done lots of episodes. You took it to action, and you got to where you are today. And that's one of my
Yeah, yeah.
biggest challenges at the time too, was recording shows, recording video. And I had such a hard time recording stuff for a documentary or courses that every time it got to my part, it took forever to record that segment of the movie or whatever. And I basically told my coach, I can't do it. I can go up on stage, I can sing, I can dance, I can do a speech, a presentation. You can record me there. But if you want me to look into a camera and get recording, that's not going to work. And he reached out his hands like, Fong, do you trust me? I'm like, what do you want me to do? He goes, well, why don't you take on this challenge and do one video a day for a whole year? And I'm like, man, that's 365 videos, 365 points of content and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, that's too much. I can't. And then I was part of a mastermind group and I was sharing these challenges. And one person stood up and goes, well, why don't you just promise to do one video a week for a whole year? And instantly I'm like, well, I saved 310 episodes. I'm like, okay, I could probably do that. But before I even said yes, 2, 3 other people stood up and says, well, if Fong does it, then I'll do it. So now I'm being challenged by 3, 4 people, being held accountable by 3 or 4 other people to do this video challenge. And before we could even think, one of the members stood up, grabbed their phone, went on Facebook Live and goes, hey, everybody, we're going to be doing this challenge of doing videos every single week for a whole year. What are you going to be talking about, Fong? And then passed the phone right in front of my face. It's live. I'm on the spot. I had to say, oh, I'm going to be talking about mindset. I'm going to be doing this, this, and that. And then there. Now I'm committed. So therefore, first of all, I'm a very competitive person. I'm not going to lose out to those other 2, 3 people. And I made sure I had a video every single week for a whole year. That very first video, I was in an airport flying back from this mastermind group after committing to this challenge, and I had a 2 or 3 hour layover. And during that 2 hours, I was there recording this 5 minute video. It took me 173 takes. Every single time I thought it was done, something screws up. Every time I thought it was going well, I forget something. Every time I thought it was done, the announcements goes on and I was interrupted, and it was just way too long. So finally I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna look at my videos. I'm just gonna post it and just feel it. If I could feel that it's good enough, I'm gonna send it out there and post it. And now I have over thousands of videos on YouTube. I've been interviewing people on my podcast for almost 4 years now. And it's one of those things that if you're able to surround yourself with other people who are able to challenge you, motivate you, push you, and hold you accountable, then there's really nothing you can't do. As long as everybody is committed to that goal. And that challenge was one of the toughest challenges I had, that I share with a lot of my clients, because it's one of those challenges I challenge a lot of my clients to overcome the fear of doing videos.
Yeah, that's great. My next question from you, what is the Barnum effect? Why every successful person should understand it?
Sorry, what was that?
What is the Barnum effect?
Oh, okay. So the
Why
Barnum
every successful person? Yeah,
So the Barnum effect is, how do you basically, it's how do you attract people to come to you, making it a show, making it a spectacle, making it exciting for people to go, oh wow, I really want to know more. Um, the thing is, we can learn about a lot of different things, and a lot of stuff could be very very technical. Coming up from a engineering background, I've gone to a lot of seminars and lots of courses and classes where they're teaching formulas and technical information, and it was so dry, it is so boring, and it's very hard to learn that information. But if you're able to make it a spectacle, if you're able to make it exciting, if you're making able to put a story to it, people will remember that. It feels more engaged into that information, and it will allow them to remember the information better. If you're able to make it a wow, then people are able to gravitate to you and learn that information more. And if you want to become more and more successful, how you are able to impact others, how you're able to add value to others, is going to be very very important. The more people you impact, the more people you add value to, the more people you get to say wow about what you do, the more successful you become, because you're able to pass on your message. You're able to give them advice. You're able to inspire and motivate them even more, and that means you're able to draw them in. Which means you have to make it a wow experience. You have to make it a spectacle, a entertaining thing, so that people go, "Oh, I want to know more."
oh, that's great. Can you share something about how you met Sir Arnold and the conversation between you and Sir Arnold?
Arnold Schwarzenegger is
Yeah,
one of my, what do you call it? Uh, um, one of the people I really wanted to meet at the time. I loved his movies. A lot of his stuff is very very exciting, and his journey is
yeah.
absolutely amazing too. Got to read his book and all that kind of stuff. And when he was a keynote speaker at one of the events that we were going to, we didn't even know he was going to be there, and getting to meet him, hear him speak was absolutely amazing. He was very very down to earth, and that was the first time I met him. It was great, and very very funny, and gives you the time to actually experience the Arnold effect. He'll shake your hand, he'll say hi to you, he'll say a few words, and he really just focuses on you when it's you. And then a few years later, I was speaking at another conference, and he was again the keynote speaker there, and hence got to chat with him a bit and also get a photo with him again, meet him backstage and whatnot. So it was great, not only to meet him once but twice.
Oh, that's great. Uh, what are your professional goals in the next 5 or 10 years?
For me, I'm going to be expanding what I do, coaching more and more people, impacting as many people as I can. I've been helping a lot of people get their books written. I've been helping a lot of people get their speaking careers going as well. Speaking, as you know, is one of the greatest fears of people's lives. And if I'm able to overcome it, I would like to be able to pass on any advice, any methods to overcome speaking fears to other people. And therefore that's one of my goals, is to expand my speaking, expand my ability to help other people to really get out there, be more confident, and become more and more successful, and collaborate with lots of people. In fact, I'm collaborating with somebody right now in the States, on a speaking course that we've just launched this a few weeks ago, and this is going to be a course that's going to be ongoing for 4 years to come. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What is the secret to success? Which thing is the most important to get success in life?
Well, first of all, one one of the most important things I mentioned before is you have to go out there and reach out and ask. Asking people about how they're able to be successful is very, very important. At the same time, asking them how they were failing at what they were doing is very, very important. And therefore, being able to ask is means also that you're building relationships. So in order for a person to be very, very successful, I would say building relationships so that you have the people that you can ask questions to. Building relationships is not something that you just go, okay, I'm just going to build relationships. You have to put time and effort into it. It's something that you go, yeah, sometimes I'm just too tired to go and network, but you know what? I want to build that relationship with the people there. I'm going to go. Yeah, I haven't spoke with this person for what, 2-3 months. Maybe I shouldn't reach out. No, you reach out. You put in the effort to reach out, say hi, ask them how they're doing, build those relationships, because you never know when those relationships become like starts opening up more and more opportunities for you. So those are the two things I think is really, really important for people to be successful, and that is asking the questions, building relationships.
Yeah, that's great. My next question from you, how to stay motivated while I am hardworking and struggling. Sometime I get tired. So how to stay motivated?
Motivation is something that is different for everybody. Also, their tolerance levels are a little bit different for everybody as well. It depends on what motivates you. From my experience, it's a combination of pride, fear, and also spite. And I have this segment where I talk to my clients. I'm like, you know what? If your motivation comes from you're either afraid of something, you either want to prove somebody else wrong, or you are so you want that thing so bad that once you have it, you're gonna feel very, very good about yourself. And it's a combination of those three things. And when you can harness those three things in a certain way, that will keep you going. So, for instance, you work really, really, really hard, but if you don't get that podcast out there, if you don't build that relationship, if you don't do that deal, you're not going to be able to, I don't know, pay the rent next week. Well, guess what? That fear of not paying the rent is going to go, you know what? I'm going to stay up a few more hours to get this episode out or to get that deal done. But let's say if somebody is telling you, you know, I don't think you can ever get that book out in 3 months. There's no way. Absolutely no. I don't think you can ever get that done. And you go, oh, I'm going to show you. I'm gonna get that book done not only in 3 months, but in 2.5 months, just to show you that you're wrong. That might motivate you. And every time you're tired or you're about to go to sleep, you remember that person saying, I don't think you can get it done. You're gonna go, you know what? I'm
Yeah,
gonna finish this next chapter. So it's one of those
yeah,
things where you have to find what pushes you, right? Whether you put those
right.
images on the wall, or you listen to stuff that keeps on pushing you, or you look at what you are able to potentially achieve, and you have a picture of that, showing that you've achieved it already, and that pushes you. Whatever it is to get you going, you have to find out. Now, the thing is, if it's a physical thing, I've done this a few times. I know a lot of my coaches and a lot of my clients has done it as well. Is that if you feel that you're getting tired, go go and go for a run. Go do some exercise. Do something that gets you moving, gets your heart pumping, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm awake now. I have my second win or my third win. I could do more work, and then you just follow suit. Now that only works for X amount of time because there comes to a point where you do become exhausted. But if you want just that little extra juice, go out there, do a run, go out there, go for a walk, get yourself motivated again, and then go right back at it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. What is your biggest achievement in life?
My biggest achievement in life. Well, if we're focusing only on business, because usually family, kids, and being in a relationship with my wife is something I'm very, very proud of. But if we're focusing purely on business, it's the it's the mindset shift of being a 9 to 5 employee to becoming somebody who has business relationships with lots of collaborators, being a best-selling author, doing real estate, and going through that transition, learning what other people are doing, learning what people are doing to be successful, learning about real estate, learning about business mindsets and all that kind of stuff. Being able to overcome that thought process of 9 to 5, doing the work, working hard is the only way to go. That's something I'm fairly proud of, because never in my life I thought I would be doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, yeah, you are doing great. I already watched your show and I like your show.
Well, thank you very much.
What impact do you hope to make in the world through your work and personal life?
Like I said, I would love to be able to impact as many people as I can by adding value to them. Whether it's
Yeah,
them
yeah.
listening to my show and they go, "Oh, I never thought about that," or "Wow, he said it in a certain way that really, really spoke to me." Whether it's doing videos online, like I was sharing with you today, maybe they go, "Oh, maybe I could do videos. Maybe I could force myself to do one a week." And if I could impact as many people as I can, helping them achieve successes or achieve goals that they've always wanted to do, or maybe come up with ideas that they've never thought they wanted to do. Like, for instance, somebody who's listening to this right now may or may not have thought that they were going to become authors, but after this conversation with you, they go, "You know what, it sounds pretty easy. Maybe I should look into more about how to become a best-selling author." And the more people I'm able to help, the more people I'm able to impact, the more people I'm able to add value to, it makes me feel good at knowing that other people are able to be more and more successful. So that's really my goal in life, to have a wider reach, be able to help as many people as I can, to help as many people achieve more and more success, and also always adding value.
Okay. What are some of the topics that the show will cover? Are there any specific topics?
On my podcast,
Yeah, yeah.
so my podcast is where I interview a lot of different people from all over the world, uh, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're Olympic athletes, celebrities, or musicians, authors. I like to hear their stories, similar to what you're doing right now. I love to hear how they're able to become successful, their keys to success, what challenges, how did they go overcome adversity, and just really understand more about what they do and some of the things that they are very, very successful at. And everybody's story has different aspects to it, but the general arc of it is fairly similar, right? You focus on it, you commit to it, you build relationships, but everybody's detailed story is just a little bit different, and sometimes that difference makes a big difference to whoever's listening. It will speak to them a bit differently, right? So that's why I like to interview as many people as I can, as many successful people all over the world as I can, because I want to hear those stories. I want to hear what successful people do, and at the same time learn about crypto, learn about real estate some more, learn about branding and maybe athletics and whatnot, and massages and all that kind of different things, because you could be successful in different things as long as you commit to it.
Okay. Are you giving any services on your website related to coaching and training?
Well, they can reach out to me on my website, fongchua.com. I do coaching.
Yeah.
Like I said, I help a lot of people get their books out, from nothing written to having their books in hand within 3 to 4 months. I do speaking courses. Uh, I love chatting with people. So if they want to reach out to me, they can find me on Facebook, find me on LinkedIn, or reach out to me on my website.
Great. What have you learned from your life?
What have I learned from my life? That
Yeah.
it's never too late to do something. There's always time. It doesn't matter what it is you want to learn. It doesn't matter who it is that you want to connect to. The thing is, you have to get it started. If you don't do anything, if you don't move, if you don't put anything into action, nothing ever happens. So if you want to achieve anything that you wanted to do, you have to start somewhere. Whether it's reaching out to ask that question, picking up that book to start reading about something you've never learned before, what's that first step? And it's that mindset of being committed to it and being consistent on keeping it going. Because once you stop, it's very, very hard to push it out again. So yeah, finding that thing that you want to learn, it's never too late.
Your comeback here is within your grasp. Thank you so much for your time. I have learned a lot from you.
Hey, happy to be here and happy to add value, and it's an honor to be interviewed by
Yeah.
you. So thank you very much.
So yeah, you can watch me on YouTube, Facebook on my channel Aslan Sahab. My show name is Aslan Sahab Podcast. To watch more episodes like this, subscribe my channel on YouTube. So take care, keep smiling, always keep smiling. Stay happy. Bye bye.